When I'm not making sarcastic videos, I do other things, and one of those things is cook. I like to cook and think that everyone should know how to cook at least a few things. If you're new to cooking, it can be a little daunting. There are so many things to buy, and what do you actually need? Well, in my non-expert opinion, you don't need a whole lot. In fact, there are only 5 things that you really need. Can you get more than this? Of course. But if you're new to cooking, or if you're a college student who's moving around a lot, then this is all you really need to get started. Now, these are based on my experience with cooking, which is a lot of stuff on the stovetop. If you do a lot of baking, then you may need to get other things. The bottom line with this is versatility and quality. You want to get things that can last you a long time and that you can use for many different occasions. Most of the things I will show you here can be used for all sorts of different cooking needs and will probably last you an entire lifetime. So, what are the 5 things? Number 1 is a cast iron Dutch oven. A Dutch oven is a big heavy pot that you can cook a lot of things in, but it really comes into its own when you're cooking stews or braises. This one is enamel coated, which has the convenience of not having to season it like normal cast iron, but with all the same heat retention abilities. Number 2 is a stainless steel skillet. Perhaps the most versatile of all skillets, stainless steel can be used over high heat and can go in the oven. I use mine for searing meats and then creating a pan sauce with the fond that develops in the bottom of the skillet. Fond is basically a French word that means the little brown bits that develop on the bottom of the skillet. If you're worried about food sticking to the bottom of the skillet, then here's this pro tip. First, preheat the skillet, and then once it gets pretty hot, put some oil, just enough to cover the bottom, and let that heat up, and then put your food in. I promise it won't stick. The third item on my list is a cast iron skillet. Like its big brother, the Dutch oven, cast iron has excellent heat retention and can be used in the oven, over high heats, whatever you want. You can cook meats, vegetables, and even bake things in it. A well-seasoned cast iron skillet can be made virtually non-stick, and the best thing about it is the more you use it, the better it gets. Number 4 on the list is a stainless steel saucepan. These are great for making, well, sauces and anything else that requires a lot of liquid. I use mine mostly for rice and pasta. Alright, number 5, and I'm going to kind of double up on this one, but it'll make sense, trust me. So, for number 5, we have a baking sheet and wire cooling racks. This one has seen better days. A baking sheet is obviously good for baking, and wire cooling racks are obviously good for cooling, so why am I lumping them together? Now, if you don't have a grill, but you still want that seared crust that only high radiant heat can give you, then what you can do is put some cooling racks on top of a baking sheet like that, and then put whatever you want to grill on top of that, and then put it under the broiler in your oven. And it'll work almost like a grill, except without all the hassle of having to, actually use a grill. Now, you may notice that there are 2 common items that I didn't include on this list. The first is a slow cooker. People swear by their slow cookers, and personally, I don't own one. The reason I don't own one is because anything that a slow cooker can do, a Dutch oven can do better and faster. A Dutch oven put in a conventional oven at say 325 degrees Fahrenheit works a lot like a slow cooker, except the cooking times will be a lot shorter. The other benefit of Dutch ovens is that the food can be seared on the stovetop first, which creates that whole fond thing I was talking about earlier, which gives a whole lot more flavor to the food. Of course, people always say that you can just turn a slow cooker on when you leave for work, and then when you get home from work, the food will be done. Does anyone actually do this? Like, I can't wake up early for anything, much less preparing food in the morning. But more power to you if you do. The second thing I didn't include on this list was a non-stick skillet. Now, as you can see, I own a non-stick skillet. I've had this thing since college, actually. But to be honest, ever since I started using stainless steel and cast iron, I just don't use this very much anymore. Teflon-coated pans have 3 big problems for me. The first is that the little bit of sticking that food does to, say, stainless steel pans actually promotes browning, and browning is the basis of all flavor. Without it, your food just ends up bland and lifeless. Number 2 is that non-stick pans can't handle high heat, and that's a problem because most meats need high heat to get a good sear. 3. Even with the best care, the Teflon coating on non-stick pans will start to come off after repeated uses, so they do have a life expectancy. Plus, it can't be good for that Teflon to be getting into your food and stuff. Now, some new non-stick technologies may seek to solve a few of these problems, but you're still better off with stainless steel and cast iron, in my opinion. If you cook a lot of fish and eggs, these would be the only things that would really warrant getting a non-stick pan. So there you go, those are my top 5. Did I miss anything? Be sure to let me know in the comments and subscribe.